The night before Ezra's wedding, I was banished from the house I had helped pay for. My future daughter-in-law, Callista, didn't even lower her voice when she said it. The best gift you could give us is if you disappeared. Ezra, my only child, nodded right along, as if the suggestion made perfect sense. The gown hung in the next room. Flowers lined the counters. Every detail screamed celebration, except for me. 3 years earlier, I had sold the Queen Anne home Warren and I spent decades restoring. I took $92,000, my entire savings, and gave it to Ezra and Callista so they could buy this house in Asheville, North Carolina. They promised it would always be my home too. A safety net. Family forever. Now, I was being erased. I stood at the kitchen island, granite I'd paid for, listening to my son speak like a stranger. Mom, this is supposed to be our weekend. Your negativity is ruining it.
Negativity. That word stabbed deeper than the insult. I had folded napkins all afternoon, ironed table runners, arranged centerpieces. The only thing I'd questioned was whether swan-shaped ice sculptures were worth the extra $700. Where do you expect me to go? I asked. Callista shrugged. Hotel? Cousins? I don't care, as long as you're not here. I glanced around at the walls, the refinished floors, the cabinetry I'd written checks for. My life savings lived inside this house, yet I was treated as an intruder. Something hardened inside me. Not broken. Hardened. I finally said very softly, "You're right. I'll leave." And the look on Callista's face told me she had no idea what that really meant. I carried my suitcase down the hall, the one decorated with photos I had framed, and hung myself. Ezra didn't offer to help me. Callista didn't even glance up from her phone. They were already talking about how they'd repurpose my guest room. Yoga studio for her, office for him. Guests leave eventually. That was the unspoken rule, and to them, I had been nothing but a long-term guest. I paused by a photo of Warren, my late husband. 41 years we had been married. We fought, yes, but he never made me feel disposable. He would have been furious to see me treated this way. "I'll be fine," I whispered to the photo. "I won't let them get away with this." In the driveway, I loaded my bag into my aging Honda. The house glowed warm behind me, full of laughter that didn't include me. I should have been crying, but instead, I felt strangely clear. I had been used, but not broken. At the hotel that night, I ordered a single glass of wine and stared out the window. My hands shook, but not from fear. Something new was moving through me, resolve. They wanted me out of the way. Fine. But they had forgotten something. I wasn't just a mother. I was an investor. I dialed my lawyer, Lydia. "Marion?" Lydia answered, surprised. "It's Saturday night. Is everything okay?" "No," I said. "I need the house purchase files. Every document." There was silence as she typed. I explained what happened, how Ezra and Callista had thrown me out like I was nothing. My voice cracked once, but only once. Finally, Lydia spoke. "Marion, I warned you about this. They've been treating your investment like a gift." But it wasn't. My heart thudded. "What do you mean? You don't remember the documents? You told me you were worried about Callista's spending, so we structured the $92,000 as a loan. You're not just an investor. You're on the deed." The words landed like a thunderclap. "You're saying I own part of the house?" 1/3, she confirmed. "Legally, you own 33%. They can't force you out. In fact, you could force a sale if you wanted." I nearly dropped the phone. The house they thought was fully theirs wasn't theirs at all. I pressed my forehead against the cool window glass. My reflection looked older, tougher. "Lydia," I said slowly, "draw up a notice of intent to sell. First thing Monday." She hesitated. "Are you sure? That's nuclear. They wanted me gone. I'll give them what they want, but they'll learn the cost of cutting me out." Through the hotel window, the city lights blurred. My heart stopped aching. It started planning. The next morning, I made my first move. The $16,000 reception, the one I was paying for, canceled. I called the florist, the caterer, the venue. Every deposit was under my name. Every check had come from my account. By noon, the wedding Ezra and Callista had built their pride on was unraveling. The phone rang. Ezra. Mom, what the hell are you doing? Exactly what you told me, I said, leaving. You can't just... I can. And I have. Call the vendors yourself if you want. But I don't think Callista's yoga studio plans will cover the balance. Silence. Then shouting in the background. Callista's shrill voice carrying through the receiver. You've ruined everything, she screamed. No, I said calmly. I just stopped paying for everything. I hung up before Ezra could respond. It wasn't spite, it was survival. For years I had confused giving with love, sacrifice with family. But now I saw the truth. They hadn't wanted me. Only my wallet. And that wallet had finally closed. By Monday, Callista was on a warpath. She called me 12 times before noon. Texts piled in. Selfish, bitter, cruel. When I didn't answer, she filed a welfare check. 2 uniformed officers knocked on my hotel room door that evening. Ma'am, one said gently, we got a call that you might be in distress. I almost laughed. The only distress I'm in is dealing with a greedy daughter-in-law. They left after 5 minutes, clearly realizing I was fine, but the humiliation burned. She wanted me to look unstable. She wanted control. That night, I forwarded Lydia the screenshots of Callista's texts. Add these to the file, I wrote. The next morning, Lydia called. Marion, they're rattled. Ezra left a voicemail asking if there's a way to undo the loan arrangement. He's worried. Good, I said flatly. Let him stew. My hands trembled after the call, but not from fear, from power. For the first time, I wasn't the victim. I was the one holding the cards. The meeting was set for Thursday. Lydia on my side, Ezra and Callista on the other. Callista came in hot. She doesn't need the money. She's being vindictive. Ezra tried the soft approach. Mom, please. We're family. We can work this out without lawyers. I looked at them, then at Lydia. My terms are simple, I said. Either buy out my share of the house within 90 days, or we sell it outright and divide the proceeds. Callista's face went red. Ezra sputtered. Lydia slid the documents across the table, cool and steady. You don't have a choice, she said. The law is the law. For once, the power dynamic flipped. They weren't dictating terms to me. They were scrambling, afraid. As we left, Callista hissed, You'll regret this. I stopped, looked her dead in the eye, and said, The only thing I regret is ever trusting you. The weeks that followed were chaos. Ezra called daily, swinging between begging and threatening. Callista sent emails to extended family, painting me as a monster. But the facts were facts. They had lived off me for years. The free ride was over. Vendors sued them for cancellation fees. The bank sent notices about late mortgage payments. Their Instagram perfect life cracked at the seams. I didn't gloat. I didn't cheer. I simply kept the pressure steady. When Lydia updated me that the buyout deadline was approaching with no progress, I made my decision. List the house, I told her. The for sale sign went up. Callista exploded. She called me screaming, then blocked my number. Ezra texted a single line. I can't believe you do this to your own son. But I didn't reply. I had spent years sacrificing my financial safety for his comfort. What had it earned me? Disrespect. Letting go wasn't cruelty. It was clarity. When the realtor toured the house, I watched from my car. The same house I once believed would be my safe haven was now just brick and wood. Memories didn't live there anymore. Betrayal did. And I was done living with betrayal. In the end, Ezra and Callista scraped together the funds with help from her parents and a loan officer. They bought out my share, just under $110,000 after appreciation. I took the check, deposited it, and felt a weight lift I hadn't realized I'd been carrying. The consequences hit them hard. Callista had to take a real job. Ezra was forced to pick up extra shifts. Their friends stopped seeing them as the golden couple once the financial reality became clear. Months later, Lydia told me, "They're actually paying bills on time now. You might have done them a favor." Maybe, but that wasn't my concern anymore. 6 months later, I sat on the balcony of my new apartment in Savannah. The air smelled of salt and jasmine. I had neighbors who invited me on hikes, a book club that met every Thursday, and dinner plans with a widower named Dean, who made me laugh until my ribs ached. For the first time in years, I wasn't financing someone else's happiness. I was living my own. One afternoon, Callista called. Her voice was softer than I'd ever heard it. "Marion, I got promoted. I never knew I was good at this. I'm proud of myself for once." She didn't sound entitled. She sounded grown. When I hung up, I realized something. Sometimes the best gift you can give your children isn't money. It's consequences. And sometimes the best gift you can give yourself is finally walking away.